around traffic here, lady. And so I was a little flustered getting into the studio on time today.
Did an emergency vehicle plow into you?
No, but there was an accident on the exit to make my way here, and we were just flowing, just going. I was in my own headspace, feeling good about today. Had given myself the buffer of about 10 to 15 minutes, felt good about getting in here early. Kind of looking up a couple of numbers that I wanted to look up, and then all of a sudden, that's it. We were stopped. That was the end of it.
Something about Monroe and I-10 these days. I grew up on Sunset Point Road and US 19 in Clearwater, which was next to Drew Street and US 19, two of the most deadly intersections in all of the United States. Most fatality accidents. What's going on with Monroe? And is this the new 19 in Sunset Point? That's 3 major incidents. I know I was in one of them, but 3 incidents in about 8 days.
Yeah, I don't know. I was able to get here in time, though. I fought through it all, Tom, just as you fought through a severe accident to get in here relatively on time.
Oh, sorry, was I tardy?
Yeah, you're a little late. Yeah. It's a Wednesday, and normally that's just, we're getting through it, but given that the game is Friday, you've got that sense of it's close. Interesting week, really interesting week, I think. I'm trying to get a handle on what this game is or is not in terms of the behind the scenes. I'm kind of curious to see the level of importance or the weight that they're putting on this game. You hear a lot of people say that they think, and I don't know what to believe anymore. I've told you all many times what I think should happen, but it doesn't appear that that's going to happen or isn't happening anytime soon. But point is, it's odd to me that maybe the NC State game this Friday could be the tipping point one way or the other. It could be the reason Mike is here next year or not. And everybody's got a feeling about that. It's my job to tell you mine. I do on a regular basis, and that's fine. If you're tired of hearing it, that's what it is. We discussed it every which way, shape, or form, I think, at this point. But it is weird that might be the case. I think it seems to me, from what I can tell, that if they win the game, then it doesn't matter what happens against Florida. Doesn't that the sense you get? But if you lose the game, it really matters what happens against Florida. It's bizarre.
I don't believe that the game on Friday matters for his future. I think that by them doing nothing, they tell you which side they're coming out on. Now, they haven't released a statement that he's coming back, but if they lose Friday, I don't magically expect there to be a Saturday firing. And I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong in the scenario that we lose on Friday, that's enough for them to pull the trigger and say that we're going to start anew. But I'm just starting to wonder. I mean, there's 1 of 3 reasons it hasn't happened. They either don't have the financial means.
I think you're going to start with that and end with that.
Or they don't have the desire, or they don't have the guts. 1 of the 3. I think it's probably desire through financial issues, but I don't think it's in them, man. We've gotten this far. At this point, like we talked about the other day, if you're going to keep them, let the world know so that he can do the best with the 26th cycle in terms of portal and kids. Might as well just get that over with.
Yeah, the only thing I might disagree with at all is sort of the idea that it is no matter what, it's already decided, meaning they know they're bringing him back no matter what, or that they know they're letting him go no matter what. I don't think those absolutes are in place. I think if you were to go to NC State, who's not any good at all, and you were to lose, convincingly, and then turn around and lose to, say, a 3-win Florida team, convincingly, I think it would change their outlook as to what they have to do. It's not what they want to do. I agree with you. It's pretty clear it's not what they want to do. They would have already announced it. They obviously don't want to have to make this financial commitment. They obviously don't want to have to make the decision to let him go. And they're hoping like hell that he wins this game on Friday night, because I feel like if he does, they'll say, hey, we went from 2 wins to a bowl game. That's how they'll frame it. That's how they'll couch it. Doesn't matter that you and I don't think that's good enough. Doesn't matter that there's a contingent of the fan base that doesn't think it's good enough. That's what they'll be able to fall into. They'll run into the arms of, hey, 2 wins to 6 to a bowl. They don't want you to look too closely, but that's what they'll say. If you lose both those games and have back-to-back seasons in which you have a losing record and you can't win a road game for 2 years, I think that it becomes almost overwhelming to the point where they're like, well, damn it, we got to do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that I think they already should. It doesn't matter
Right.
that you already think they should. I'm just telling you what I think their mindset is right now.
That their threshold of overwhelming is much more patient than our threshold.
Yeah, it's different than ours,
overwhelming. Yeah. The thing to me is, if you haven't fired him yet, then you clearly don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to.
And you really, really, really don't want to. The measure of which they don't want to fire him is massive, that they don't want to have to do it. Because that, to me, I don't know how losing these next 2 games is more egregious, even when you combine them, than the loss to Stanford, which was the 4th in a row at the time. Like I don't understand how that would be more egregious than that roadie, because that one's special. Now Mike has some special setbacks and some special victories as well, but that one is it's right there with Jacksonville State in terms of degree of difficulty to pull off. But these 2 games apparently matter, I guess. It's one of those deals where we've been here before, where we say, well, if they lose this game, I mean, what are we talking about here? I can't do that anymore.
No, I'm not making an ultimatum declarative type statement. I'm saying it feels like that's what it is. That he needs to win one of the last 2, and maybe this one being the biggest, I guess. It's pretty obvious at this point that they don't want to make the move, that financially they find it devastating and very uncomfortable. They could do it. There's a lot of different ways they could do it, but it doesn't feel like something they have any desire to exercise.
Yeah, I guess a different way of putting it is, if you are this committed to not firing him that we've gotten here, wouldn't you have just been better off saying he's coming back, because we just lost 3 kids, in terms of commitments last week, a couple of them pretty good. Was it worth the cost of, one more time? Let's see it feels like when you're chasing on the tables in Vegas. I have done that once, and that was very hurtful, and I paid for it dearly. It just feels like you're chasing rather than walking away one way or the other from the indecision. Just pick one. That would help us immeasurably, is just to pick a path.
So you're having the conversation that is very much in the now. It is the micro. I'm looking at the macro. Where I get upset and what I'd be more apt to voice my displeasure about in the future is that I think that, you've like you said, I think they've likely made a decision that come hell or high water, they don't want to let him go. I think he could maybe somehow find a way to run into the arms of unemployment if he fails to win either of the next 2 games. But if he wins one, I think they're just going to say, hey, they're bowl eligible. We're not firing him. I think that the damage is being done, and I think it will continue to be done. And I think when he comes back next year, there will be no excitement or zeal for a season. I don't think there will be any sort of enthusiasm within the fan base. And I don't think that, moreover, even if you disagree with me, even if you're of the mindset that, no, I'll still get excited. It's football season. And, in the modern era, you can flip a roster and you may find some great players to come in and elevate your likelihood of winning, more games than you lose. I don't look at him as a guy to be the long-term answer of where I would like Florida State to be consistently. I don't see enough there that tells me that we're going to see this program go from where we are to elite, and I want to be elite. I'd like Florida State to be an annual contender to win the conference. I think that adjusting what we view as a good run, a successful run for a coach is changing. So even when I take it from up here to where it used to be to down here, where I think a lot of people have to live now, and I'm talking about elite programs have to live there too. Like if we can climb back to elite, I'm willing to concede that with the dispersion of talent being what it is and the climate being what it is and everybody having a baseline of salary that they can pay players with, rev share, that in the inability to stockpile depth, I think you will see some seasons that resemble the 8-4, 9-3 type seasons, even for the elite programs. And that's kind of just the modern era of college football. It's not quite a salary cap league, but you understand what I'm saying. And so I'm willing to make those adjustments to expectations for any coach. Coach A comes in tomorrow, starts brand new, and he has what I would deem a successful run. Now, obviously, a successful run at a place like Marshall is different than a successful run at a place like Florida State. Well, let's just say in a 5 to 6 year window, okay? I'm willing to say in the modern era of college football that one of those years is going to be what we would consider to be a pretty lean year. It'll be a 6-6 type year, a 7-5 or 5-7 type year where you go, ooh, what happened there? One of those years will be, man, we've got it humming. This team could win it all. We have got the right quarterback. We hit on the portal guys. We've had a successful run in the high school ranks of recruiting. We've stockpiled some talent here. I think we could not only win the conference, I think we could win the national championship. All right, so you'll have that 5-7, 6-6, 7-5 type year. You'll have that 12-0, 11-1, 10-2 type year that, gets you into the playoffs. And then I think for the other 4, let's say, years, you're going to be looking at some 9-3s, some 8-4s. If you're a successful, very, very good program, you're not going to be looking at too many 6-6s, but you'll be looking at more 8-4s and 9-3s than we used to say was thought possible.
Yeah, you're not going to win 30 out of 32. You're not going to go on a stretch like that. That's not – the threshold is lower, which is why I believe if they do keep Mike, they can have a successful season next year. They can. Now, I don't like the message that sends about how we believe – where we believe we are, where financially we might in reality be, to give ourselves the opportunity to be excellent with consistency. But I think because college football is so wacky, he could have a good year next year. They could win 9 games if they manage the roster properly in the offseason. I don't disagree with that particular line of thinking because look at Virginia this year. I mean, you win enough coin flip games, there you are. You're at the top or near the top of your own conference. I don't want that, because I don't believe that he could put us on a 5-year path. I think he can run into one in a given year because that's college football now. That's the way the sport is played. So you're not dead and buried if you bring him back for next year. You're not dead and buried within the 2026 campaign. But if you're trying to set the standard for what excellent looks like at a lower threshold in the modern era of college football, this is insanity. This is insanity. It is the antithesis of the football-only facility.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. This is why
But I'm just saying, would you agree with that they could have a year next year that we would all deem, everybody would deem, detractors and supporters alike, to say, that was a good year? It's possible in this era of college football.
It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. I don't think they'll have a good year with him back. This system sucks. I wouldn't run this system. If you bring Gus back, you're going to be average. I'm
not saying it's likely. I'm just saying it is within the realm of possibility. I mean, look, this year
that roster's not an elite roster. They got some good players. They don't have a lot of good players.
You could do what Virginia did this
in this sorry-ass conference. You could stumble around and win 8-9 games, sure. But I don't judge us against this conference. I judge us against the best of the SEC and the best of the Big Ten, and I don't think we'll be in the ballpark. And before somebody says, well, they beat Alabama this year, they did. Week 1, a lot of strange circumstances, did work out. That's cool. That win altered what we thought was possible. But in reality, we see what we are and what they are. And sustained success outside of a one-off early in a year, nah, I don't think they will. I don't think, not to the standard that I would like with this
That's
coach.
where I'm agreeing with you. I'm just, in this era, though, you could have the wrong guy and still have the right season. A year where you go, all right, well, they accomplished something.
Yeah.
Like that happens in the NFL all the time. They're a bad coach. Like, oh, he just saved his job, and they're
going to be pissed.
Now they're 3 years away instead of being 1 year away.
But the point we were making, though, is that even with a different vantage point of successful runs, being 9-3, 10-2, the occasional 11-1, the accepted 6-6 because you had a bad break or two, and you know the bounces didn't go your way, you had an injury, whatever it might be. Even if we delve that or deem that as what's now a good 5-year run for a new coach, the goal is to be the upper echelon of college football, where the anomaly is the 7-5 season and the 8-4 season, and that the more likely path on an annual basis is the 9-3 and the 10-2.
Yeah.
And I don't think he can get us there. He does not recruit well enough to get that kind of consistency.
No, exactly. This is where I'm saying, yes, this is where we're agreeing. Like, if you're playing poker, you could play a bad hand in terms of the cards that you have, play it poorly, and still win the hand. Like, I think that's what this would be. You're hoping that you just it's a bad beat that goes your way next year.
I don't like having to depend on getting lucky.
Nor I, which is why we are adamant that this is insane where we are right now. And what's worse about it at this point is I'm more mad that they haven't gotten rid of him. Everybody understands that. But the second most mad I am is that we haven't backed him, if that makes sense. Like, this third option of this middle ground stuff, it really, I mean, if we get to next week and Thanksgiving Eve and they haven't done anything because they lost, let's say they lost NC State, and they're like, well, if we beat Florida, then we, oh my God, just give me something. Give me something to work with for 26, either him or somebody else.
I don't know what to believe anymore. They're very quiet over there. They're a very tight ship, other than the talking points that they try to get out, that they try to release about where they're at. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that certain decision makers have leaked certain talking points that they want out there about the gravitas in the weight of the financial decision.
The one thing is, and I know they're talking about this over there, we've discussed it on our shows, that the attendance for the game against Virginia Tech this weekend was healthy. If that is really something that can't be serious.
I don't think they're talking about, hey, look, nobody cares. It's good. They're all coming to the game. Let's just stay status quo. I don't believe it's that. I believe that oh, wow, okay. People aren't as mad as we thought they were. They can handle waiting another year is partly that. Partly also, I think, that it didn't put any added pressure on them.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Like, had you walked into that stadium on Saturday night and it was half empty on senior night, and then the students weren't coming either, because they've been great all year, the students have. If all of a sudden half the student section was empty and the regulars, season ticket holders, had also decided, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the house this weekend. I'm not driving up there dealing with the hotels and all the nonsense. Then it might have put added pressure for them to make an immediate decision.
That's fair. That's fair. All I'm saying is, if that is in the math of you keeping him, then I've got less faith in the administration than I've ever had. One night. No,
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't believe it was added faith.
Okay.
I don't believe it was. I don't think they sat around and went, "Oh, cool, we don't have to do anything." I just don't think that they felt like, oh man, the timeline's been moved up again. This place is looking empty.
It's also a lot fewer seats to fill as part of their design. That's also part of it.
That's going on all around the country.
But imagine there was 83,000 in that. You really think we're going 83,000 strong on Saturday night?
No, I know, but that's a trend all around the country. Amenities replacing just your standard seats. That's not just us, but yeah, man.
A lot of people have the energy of, I'm gonna get my money's worth. I pay good money for all this. You're feeding me free food. You're doing all this stuff. Yeah, man.
In year one, you're damn right,
everybody. You need a $10,000 capital donation so I can get I'm going to the game. I'm not going to the game. I'm into you for $15,000.
Yeah. Steve, man, that is nice of you. What's going on here? I look up and decide to check the chat for a second, and I see $100 of gifting. Woo, buddy. Woo. Jeff and Tom, it was great seeing you guys at Indigo last weekend. My dad and I had a blast, and we appreciate all that you both do. By the way, the West Sideline Club was as good as advertised. They nailed it. Yeah, they did. That's been the big home run this year. You had two major home runs this year for Florida State football. Beating Alabama, which will, you hold on to that one near and dear. We celebrated that in the moment. I don't think we realized just how much it was going to mean to us as the year went on. It was elevated status as you began to lose games. But we did beat Alabama. You did do that a lot.
And we kind of kicked their ass.
Yeah, it wasn't a fluke either. And then the second part of that is, I do think the renovations of the stadium were absolutely a home run. They did a great job. I was reminded of it again this past weekend. They did a great job. I think I'm sure there's some complaints out there, but I haven't heard much. And I've been all around that stadium, from the most luxurious to just your standard seat to what everything they did has been very, very good.
It's one of the best parts of the Indigo remotes, where a lot of times folks are coming in from different parts of the country for one game. And so they bought tickets on the west side for the one game, and they said they hadn't seen it yet. And that's a conversation you and I had, I'm sure, with at least 24 people over the course of the Indigo pregame remotes. Wait till you see. Wait till you see what they've done.
Yeah, sounds
You'll
good.
say,
Looks
this
good.
is professional. Yeah.
Feels like a pro stadium. It does. Thanks, Steve. Thanks to you and your dad, man. That's awesome. We really appreciate it. It was great to see you as well. My man Shannon Young, kicking ass and taking names, unlike the Noles. Made that move to Cross Country Mortgage, and he was already the best in the business. Then he was armed with better rates, better options, better support, and faster responses. And that has meant a lot. Some of you have reached out via social media. Some of you have reached out via email. Some of you have reached out via Shannon. And it's all come back to me to hear that you guys, through the show, have reached out to Shannon Knowles, loansforknowles.com, loansforknowles.com. If you're in the market, you're looking for a loan, you're looking to perhaps renovations in your house, perhaps you're going to buy a new house, I can't advocate enough for Shannon. Does a great job. Pro's pro, hard worker, really smart, great in that field, and a fantastic human being that you can trust. Loansforknowles.com. That is loansforknowles.com.
Hey everybody, Greg Tish here. Tomorrow, Thursday, 7 a.m., 10 a.m., the Greg Tish Show goes on the road. Well, downtown Ponce de Leon Park, but for a great cause, the 12th annual WTXL Turkey Drive. We'll be down there with WTXL and with Second Harvest of the Big Ben, collecting turkeys from all of you. And we can't thank you enough for coming to see us. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., the Greg Tish Show Live Turkey Drive, 6 to 6:30 with WTXL.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Here's the cold, hard truth. Your body needs more than you're giving it to stay healthy. And now it's easier than ever with Vigor, the all-new cold plunge tub from Hot Spring Spas. Available only at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Cold plunges reduce muscle soreness, boost mood, improve sleep, and so much more. It's not just a trend, it's science-backed wellness. And now you can have it in your own home. Ready to feel alive again? Pinch A Penny has the exclusive home use solution. Visit us on Capitol Circle Northeast and take the plunge.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, he can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable. Is what Barry does best.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
Go custom with your window coverings with help from Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Budget Blinds brings their showroom to your home with dozens of color and pattern choices. Just tell them what you love and they'll make it happen. From designing custom draperies and Roman shades to color matching your blinds and shutters.
I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds Tallahassee, where you get beautiful style and expert service for any budget. Call 668-4835 for a free consultation online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine, and we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
License number CCC 1335048.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, to a subject that has our attention and is fun because I think really more and more people are going to become invested, and that is Florida State basketball. I mentioned it that last night. Yesterday we were talking about this, but last night they honored Coach Hamilton. As far as the game goes against UT Martin, a couple things stand out to me. I had a chance to talk with the coaches, and UT Martin is better than they thought they were going to be. I mean, and I don't mean that they realized it after the fact. They knew it going in. They kind of looked up at UT Martin and went, man, I feel like when we scheduled UT Martin, we might have been all right. Now it's kind of the Skyhawks got a little game to them. Just filled with a bunch of dudes from all over Europe that can play, that are fundamentally sound, to say the least, and have some ability, too.
Go away, you Europeans. That's what I was saying. I felt like I was watching the Ryder Cup. Like, don't you let this happen.
Well, you know, it's an international game, and it's become an international game in my lifetime in a big, big way. And you can find great players from any background all over the world now. Basketball is truly global. And so when you see players, you know, a mixed mash of players from all over, and you know, you get about halfway through a game and you're going, oh, they got real game. UT Martin had already beaten UNLV. They had already beaten Bradley, who's good. So, you know, that's a barrage of 3-pointers from the Eastern Euros, and it's tough. It's tough. If you're not where you're supposed to be, they make you pay. That's a smart team, a well-coached team. I think it was healthy and important that Florida State have kind of a moment or two in last night's game, both in the first half and the second half, where the game is in doubt. You know, you have reason to sort of second-guess yourself a little bit there for stretches in both halves. And, you know, I thought, obviously, our ability to turn them over in the second half was huge. You go on that run because of it, and you're able to create a working margin where you had room for error. You had room for a couple of empty possessions, and it helped. You needed a little bit of it. The run you go on in the second half, 16-2 run in the first 5 minutes to start the second half, is the ball game. It turns out to be the ball game. And this is a team we're getting to know. A Florida State team that it might be a different star on any given night. Yeah, we like to think that we know that Robert McCray is going to be a pretty consistent player for you game in and game out. He's a guy that you can count on. Shot the three better than he shot the three to start the year. I think he was 4 of 8. Made his first couple right off the bat, and I started laughing. I'm like, oh, don't fall in love with it. But he was good. He had the 7 assists, 3 steals. We are so active defensively. We're annoying to play. Just as UT Martin was annoying to play, Florida State is annoying to play. And I love that about us. Florida had to have been annoyed by the fact that we are constantly moving on defense. The passing lanes, we get in the way. We have quick hands. We move our feet. We're very active defensively. Florida State forced 26 turnovers last night. That's amazing. to think about. They forced 26 turnovers. You had, of the 26, 19 were steals. 19 steals, Tommy. Yeah, well, that is crazy. And you think about this, converted all in all, 33-4 off those turnovers. That is your ball game.
Well, in a 14-point margin. Again, yeah. So, possession for possession in the half court, we were tested last night by a pretty good team. But that's also where, they ran with us for 20 minutes. They were able to absorb all of our runs, our athleticism, our speed, and answer for it. We should have been up by a decent margin at half because free throw line troubles plagued us, especially in that first half.
Yeah,
so you'd have a little bit more comfort at the break if you had that happen for you. But I expected to see them wilt a little bit, Tennessee Martin, later in the second half. I didn't think we'd run away from him to set the tone in the second half. But what was good is Luke Lauk said in the postgame that he walks into the locker room and players are already yelling at each other in order for what to do better, and how to tighten things up. That's good. That's because this is a weird spot. That game is essentially off of a bye week, if you will. You're coming off of a loss, but a very impressive performance against Florida. So maybe guys' expectations about who they were and what they were capable of might have been sky high. You got a plucky team coming in that had already won on the road and beaten some good teams relative to who they are on the road. The timing of the matchup, the nature of the matchup was very good for our mental toughness, and it was a good test, and it made us better last night. All the better that you can win it and win it going away in the end.
You may recall, as we learn more and more stylistically about the way that Florida State wants to play, whether that's tempo or what we were just describing defensively, the way they want to play. I said to you that my understanding, what I've been told by the coaches, is that they want to shoot at least 35 threes, 30 to 35 threes a game. They'd like to shoot no worse than, say, 35% on those 35 threes. Obviously, if you can do better, that's great. You're probably going to win games when you shoot better than that with 35 threes attempted. But at the same, there are other things they want to do too, obviously. But I would just tell you this: they shot 34.3% on 35 3-point attempts. This is, get used to that. Get used to that number being there. That is a goal. That is a stated goal. They want to get that many shots up from beyond three. They did not shoot it from the field very well, but it's to me it's fun to watch. When they were 30. What were they? 31 pulling up now. Yeah, 31 of 72 from the field. If they had shot better from the field, if they had made their free throws where they were awful, 13 of 23, 56.5%. Now, that's not who they are. They came into the game shooting nearly 80%, 79.7% from the free throw line this year. So they've been good from the free throw line. They weren't last night. So you marry those two things, not being great from the field and missing a bunch of free throws, and you got a game.
Yes, there's a consistent way that they like to play. There's a consistent benchmark or two that they need to hit. But what you're seeing is they're capable of playing the game at different speeds and winning in different ways, or competing in the case of the Florida game in different ways. It doesn't have to look one specific way for them to be able to be successful. They can get it done at the stripe. They can get it done in transition. They can defense can generate offense for them, or the three ball can be the thing in a high possession game that dictates terms. I like that we're finding different ways to win, and we're leaning on different players to make that happen. The first half was about McCray from beyond the arc. The second half was about Miles with timely buckets. Wasn't just one. He made about 3 or 4 that felt important in the moment they left his hand, and that's really nice to see that you're cultivating different players who you can turn to in key moments. I don't know that means he's ready-made, but it was nice to see last night.
A freshman who scores 17 points and leads all scorers is a hell of a thing to have happen. I would note 15 of the 17 were scored in the second half, and he hit some huge threes that showed an awful lot of cojones just to take them. Speaks to the mantra that Coach Laux and his staff have really repeated time and again at practice to these players. Look, I brought you in very specifically to do certain things. I have clearly defined roles for you. Shooters better shoot. If we create you, born out of getting out in space and going in pace, shoot the ball, man. And if you don't, I'll pull you. I believe in you. I brought you here because of it. I want you to shoot the ball. Don't worry about if you miss that shot. If it's the right shot, I'm not going to be pissed. Yeah, obviously, I want you to make it. We all do. But if it's the right shot, I'm not going to be mad. You can't be afraid I don't think I see any tentativeness from these guys right now. The other part about that is that different guys on different nights, they don't have a true superstar. McCray is the closest, but they're going to have to beat you a lot of different ways. They're going to have to beat you with their scheme, if you will, and their modus operandi, and they're going to have people step up. Last night, Miles did. Alex Steen, I like a lot. A.J. Swinton had his best game as a Knoll, so that was good.
Yeah, their star is the open shooter. You know, that's where
whoever it is.
Yeah, whoever it is, because they've got enough guys who can make them. I have a positive feeling watching this team that reminds me of, remember when you had a young C.J. Walker and Trent Forrest checked in as the second wave for Leonard Hamilton?
Yeah.
That was a deep roster that you had young Trent Forrest and C.J. Walker.
C.J. Walker had that little moment in time where he was nice.
Yeah, the elbow extended three-pointers in the tournament. Yeah. And I think he went to Ohio State afterwards.
Yeah.
But those guys came in and they gave you everything they had defensively. And you just saw the activity, and they were so enthused to be on the court. I can remember one of the games was against, was it Virginia Tech maybe? It was Buzz Williams who was on the sideline. We were sitting next to each other in the spotlight, remember? And he was sweating his ass off, as he always does.
Yeah.
And you just watch this effort from young players defensively. I feel that way watching this whole team, just the excitement. These guys have a chip on their shoulder on both sides of the floor. Constant effort, constant movement. It's an entertaining product. There are going to be blips this season where you go, I'm not so sure they're very good at all, but that's okay. They're building towards something, and they've got more than a couple of guys that they can turn to when they kick it out. You don't go, oh, well, here comes a clank. No, most of the guys, if the offense generates a look, you say, well, he could make this as the ball's in the air. It's a nice feeling.
It's funny you bring that up. There were some moments last night where I was like, all right, Kobe, I don't need you shooting anymore. We've about exhausted my patience with your bricklaying ass. What was he, 1 of 8? I was like, don't have it tonight, Kobe. Let's make that extra pass, baby.
It's all right. It's the nature of the offense. Keep shooting.
It is. But somewhere in there was the moment where I went, let's make that extra pass, Kobe. You're not squaring it up tonight, baby.
Well,
just not happening.
McCray was a good example because his first half against Florida was terrible. But in the second half, he's doing the same things, and it's making the difference in the game.
Well, he always has that thing in his bag, though, where he'll just beat you off the bounce. He's quick. He's strong. He can get to the 10. And, you got to finish more than he did in the first half against Florida, but he can always do that. He has that in him. Last night, he hit his threes. So if any game where he's going to hit threes, the other team's going to have a problem because I don't, I think the strength of his game is going to the basket. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas have everything you need for pool maintenance. Chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. Not only do they have all the premium hot springs hot tubs in the entire city, largest selection by far, they also have the premium hot springs cold plunge tubs, which are all the rage these days. Go check them out. I did. I want one of those cold plunge tubs. I'll tell you right now, Pinch a Penny, we should do some work here together. I want one of the cold plunge tubs. I know you can't give them to me free, but they got a little something to them, man. I like those
finance
tubs.
it to where it's basically free.
That is true. Way to add to the ad, Tom Lang.
$1 a month for the next 1,000 months.
There we go. Pitch Penny Pools and Spas have the ability to come remove your old, sorry, lackluster, dilapidated hot tub that's been an eyesore for you, the family, the neighbors for years. Get it out of there. Looks like ass. They'll grab it. They'll take it. They'll give you some money towards the new hot tub, the luxurious hot tub, the Pentagon.
That's right.
You name it. They got it.
Langley.
Penny Pools and Spas, if you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Your local news now.
Leon County Schools considered in agreement with and families in school events. The agreement was unanimously approved Tuesday night. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 82. Westerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies develop with fog at times. Tonight, lows level off around 57. Becoming mainly sunny with fog in spots early tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 84. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Tired of calling 1-800 numbers just to get put on hold? Flush those numbers down the drain and call Terry West Plumbing and Septic Services, now offering Terry's Toilets, providing clean, reliable porta potties for any job site, special event, or backyard party. Real local people doing real work. No robots, no AI, no call centers. For all your septic services and portable restroom needs, one local call wipes away the competition. Call 850-510-8558. That's 510-8558. Or visit terrywestplumbing.com. When you call, we answer.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood. Oh, good days. So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played. Kind of like the bikes we built. Correct, yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Got your picks in yet for the RSM Classic, Tom?
You know, I was looking. Let's see.
This is your boy over here being the degenerate that I am. I have my picks in.
You going with Tor Bjornsson? Who are you going with?
I went with
Sami
Michael
Valimaki?
I went with Michael Thorbjornsson. I did him.
Yeah, you went with him?
Yeah, with him.
Any Pearson Cootie action?
No Pearson Cootie action ever. I also like, and I hate liking him, don't want to root for him, but a little Harris English.
Okay.
Because, this is their course, man. They all love it. Sea Island folks tend to play well at Sea Island.
So according to BetMGM, I got a couple of insights. Tor Bjornsson has the most tickets and the largest handle bet on him this week of any player in the field. Number 2 is Mac Meisner, and number 3 is Vince Whaley. We are certainly in the golf offseason, aren't we? That Vince Whaley has the third most tickets bet on him this week at 4.8%.
Well, but for some people, it's the last chance to keep their card, buddy, so it is worth watching.
Glory's last shot.
Top 100, 124 have certain privileges, but 100 keeps the card. And you got some names out there now on the cusp of being told, thanks for playing. It's a meritocracy. You got to take it on down the road.
Sorry, Vince Whaley.
It is not to be had.
I know the golf names. You know them better than I do because you wager down in the margins.
I do.
I have never heard of Vince Whaley.
Oh, I have.
Have you?
I have. Yeah, Vince,
he did okay at the Rocket Mortgage last year, top 30.
There are some courses. Where you say to yourself, this is a Valimaki, this is a Whaley, this is a Echeverria, this is a Novak.
An Eckroat.
This is an Austin Eckroat, huh? You went Austin Eckroat? I like Austin, yeah. You know who's on the cusp of losing his card? Sahith Theegala.
Oh, really?
Dude was all the rage for like an hour. He was serious, and then he's about to be done. Yeah.
Is his dad still hovering over him?
Probably, which is probably what hurts. This could be a Mark Hubbard kind of weekend.
Mark Hubbard. I feel like Mark Hubbard was most certainly a baseball player in the 90s.
Well, there was a Ron Hubbard. I will tell you this, by the way. Sometimes I laugh because I'll be like, I think this is a Lee Hodges kind of week. And every time I say something like that, I think of you because I knew you would chuckle. You've heard of Lee Hodges. You would never think of Lee Hodges. But when I bring up Lee Hodges' name, you're like, yeah, Lee Hodges,
well,
Jesus.
It always makes me laugh because there was a guy whose name was Lee, and it wasn't Hodges, but his last name was very similar. And one of our GMs always told me I needed to call Lee. We'll just go with Lee Hodges.
Yeah.
Call Lee Hodges. Get me Lee Hodges. So I hear that.
Your old golf pro coach was Barry Kay in another world.
He was the one who told me to go call Lee whatever, Get me Lee Hodges.
Oh, man. Maybe it's a Grayson Sig kind of week. Oh, here we go.
Is there a shot in the freezer?
When will we find out about Lane Kiffin, the one big name in all of college football that perhaps could get the ball rolling on all the rest of the hires? Apparently, a lot of people think it'll be after this weekend. Man, I would hate that. What's the one thing about college football I don't love is that these guys are now put in a position to make these decisions as their team is getting set to go to the playoffs. That's not ideal. Yeah. Just as it's not ideal for players to have to put their name in the hat to ride right as they're going to the playoffs.
You really could just eliminate the early signing period and say it's enrollment in January, but that's not as fun. You can't be messing around with hats, and you can't lock in your roster at that point either. But even the early enrollment stuff, semesters start while the playoff is going on if you make it deep enough into the playoff. So that there should be some sort of waiver that allows delayed enrollment if kids just go to signing day in February. So let's say they choose their school in February. They're a month late to classes. Does it really matter? Does it really at the university level?
At this point, no.
It doesn't.
I was reminded today reading the story about Kiffin and the coaching carousel that we may or may not be involved in. Not with Lane Kiffin. That we know we're not involved in. And I was thinking to myself, there are so very few people of which there are these kinds of examples of success and failure that are rather bountiful. Like there are a number of examples, and he's 50. He's not 63, and you're like, well, those 6 different, he's 50. And you go back through, the person was documenting his career, and I was reminded it was fun to go down memory lane. Southern Cal fired him at the airport. Not too many people get fired at the airport for the gross incompetence on display and rebound well enough. Nick Saban, days before a national title game, said, yeah, you go ahead and get up out of here. We're done with you. He, moving on, Saban did that because he was mad that he thought he was convinced that he was too busy thinking about the Florida Atlantic job, which we forget that he had the Florida Atlantic job.
Yep. He went on Lebitard every week to keep his brand up.
Mm-hmm. Al Davis obviously fired him and then declared that he was a liar and a sneak, and that he was conned into hiring him, quote unquote. I remember when old Wispy was on display every week. I miss those days.
Mortensen.
Yeah. He was conned into hiring him by Chris Mortensen, who's passed away, as has Wispy. We all do. So what happens with Kiffin soon enough, we will know, and then perhaps all the other names, the assistants and everything else start.
It's a major domino. Yeah.
Domino.
What if Texas opens up? That's the hot rumor right now, is that Sark is actually going to leave this year. Could Lane go to Texas? Is he holding out for Texas?
So, what's fascinating about the Sark stuff? We've got a buddy that works for Texas, and we've been hearing rumors since before the season began that all was not well in Texas. This is a program that has gone to back-to-back college football playoff semifinals. They were that close to beating Georgia. They could have played for the national title. And yet, going into this season, people in the know covering Texas were like, it's not on good standing. The University of him players, like, what in the world?
A lot of strange whispers.
A lot of very strange
things you could get sued for if you put out in the air because they are damaging.
Oh, yeah. But just strange stuff out there regard. Now, if you're him, and to me, you go to the NFL if you can. You get out of college football. I don't think college football is for him. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with us, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Big news. Café de Martín has been named one of America's best restaurants, and we want to celebrate with you. On December 10th from 1 to 4 p.m., a national film crew will be in the restaurant capturing the magic of our food, our people, and our community. Come dine with us, enjoy your favorites, and you just might be featured on camera. Join the celebration at Café de Martín, December 10th, 1 to 4 p.m. Café de Martín, where every plate tells a story.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callpauls.com. For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pauls can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Florida State basketball, they pick up a win yesterday as they knock off Tennessee Martin 87-73. Freshman Cam Miles scoring a team and career-high 17 points, 15 of which come in the second half. Robert McCray had 16 in the contest. Florida State forcing the Skyhawks 26 turnovers, 19 of which were credited as steals. The 19 steals are tied for the second most in a single game in school history. Seminoles back at it on Friday when they are going to take on Georgia Southern. NBA basketball yesterday, the Orlando Magic beat the Golden State Warriors 121-113. Desmond Bain, 23 points. Anthony Black off the bench scores at 21. Magic at home against the Clippers tomorrow. The Heat tonight host Golden State.
This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Tired of calling 1-800 numbers just to get put on hold? Flush those numbers down the drain and call Terry West Plumbing and Septic Services, now offering Terry's Toilets, providing clean, reliable porta potties for any job site, special event, or backyard party. Real local people doing real work. No robots, no AI, no call centers. For all your septic services and portable restroom needs, one local call wipes away the competition. Call 850-510-8558. That's 510-8558. Or visit terrywestplumbing.com. When you call, we answer.
Your business doesn't stop, and neither does IOWise. From the trusted owners of Mac & More Systems, IOWise offers 24/7 IT support, cybersecurity monitoring, HIPAA and compliance consulting, cloud data management, phone systems, and full network design and security. For healthcare, finance, legal industries, IOWise specializes in keeping sensitive industries protected and connected. Local service, major protection. Visit iowise.com today and discover why smart businesses trust IOWise.
A holiday meal is more than food. It's family gathered close, the joy of laughter, and the comfort of knowing you belong. But for too many of our neighbors, that tradition feels out of reach. ABC 27 Gives Back needs your help feeding our neighbors. The annual turkey drive benefiting Second Harvest kicks off November 17th with frozen turkey drop-offs November 20th. Your generosity ensures families across the Big Bend can share a Thanksgiving meal together. Go to WTXL.tv to help families in need.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Hi, everyone. This is Monique Ellsworth with Second Harvest of the Big Bend, reminding you that families in our community are in need now more than ever. Actually, in our community, 1 in 4 children are food insecure, not knowing where their next meal is coming from. So as we roll into the holiday season, please keep those families in mind. And when you're shopping for groceries, consider picking up extra food for family in need, or visit our website if you're able to make a monetary contribution. Or if you have the time, please visit our website and sign up to be a volunteer and serve alongside of us.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Tish, and I want to personally invite you to join us each and every weekday morning right here on Real Talk 93.3 for the Greg Tish Show. We have the best guests in Tallahassee. We play the funnest games like Give Me a Second, the movie clip game, and everybody loves a food segment every weekday morning at 6:45. So start your day with Tallahassee's morning show, the Greg Tish Show, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tallahassee's only locally owned and operated radio station in all the town, baby. That's it. That's all. Only one. Warchant TV, warchant.com. Thanks for doing that as well. That too's local. Gene's not running warchant.com from Champaign, Illinois. No, it's right here in Tallahassee, Florida. I bet he wakes up every day really, really thankful he's not in Champaign, Illinois. No thanks, right? Swiss, it's not too late. Sometimes Ira's driving about town listening to the wildly popular Jeff Cameron Show, as thousands upon thousands do every day. And if he's listening now, I'll say to you, Ira, Swiss is worried about you stopping in Fayetteville, North Carolina on your way to the game. He even says that place makes Shreveport look like a utopia. I've never been there. I can't support nor deny. That stems from yesterday's headlines, Tom, where Iris suggested that he's leaving a day early and he doesn't want to drive all the way to Raleigh, and he's going to stop somewhere in like Fayetteville, North Carolina, rest up and have a short jaunt the next day. And I was like, oh, just going to, I said, one of two things going on there. You're just going to drive about Fayetteville. You got some fondness for it. You got a side piece. And he's like, oh, man, don't out my side piece. Get out my side piece. But I know he's madly in love with his lovely wife, Kim, so I know that's not the case. But hey, I've not been to Fayetteville. I thought about going and jumping in the car and driving 9 hours to Raleigh, North Carolina for the big game.
What?
I legitimately thought about it. It was a very fleeting thought, Tom.
Yeah.
I was at a red light, and I said to myself, maybe I should drive up to Raleigh. It's been eons since I've been to Raleigh, North Carolina. I mean, 20 years.
Interesting.
Maybe I should go. I always avoid that place.
Interesting. Yeah. If I was Ira, the halfway point is Hilton Head. There you go. I know he wants to have a short jaunt the next day, but it's just under 5 hours to Hilton Head. From Hilton Head to Raleigh, it's just under 5 hours. There you go. Split it.
You got to cut a little more off than that, man.
Well, it's an 8 p.m. kick, which means press box around. I mean, you could leave at lunchtime from Hilton Head the next day if you get in early enough to just enjoy a night, feel the breeze. That's what I would do. But thankfully, his sacrifice is that he's going and covering this thing. I'm fine breaking it down from here, and we'll have a watch along to that end on Friday night.
I'm going to be involved in the watch along on Friday night with Tom.
All 4 quarters?
No, God, no. No, I will be with you early in the first. I will be with you early in the fourth.
Over under 2.5 offensive drives for Florida State. We're going to set the under.
Who knows? This game has shootout written all over it. If we're going to talk about the actual game and not the consequences of winning and losing said game, but just the matchup itself, you'll see that the total is over 61.5 or 61.5, and I'd be inclined to take the over is a better way of saying that. And Florida State is a favorite of 4.5. As of this morning when I the Warchant report. And Florida State has injuries in the secondary at corner. That ain't good. It's not a great secondary to begin with. People who have been capable of protecting their passer and or that passer was any good at all and even decently accurate have lit Florida State secondary up. I would imagine the Bailey kid can do that because he's good. He's a good player. So unless we get to him, they're going to complete some passes. They're going to have some success. They're going to move the ball. I know they won't look like they looked against Miami. Some people suggest that what happened there was it was a homecoming for him, and he put an awful lot of pressure on himself, and he absolutely peed down his leg down in Miami and couldn't recover. He spiraled, as they say, and isn't that the hardest thing in the world to watch when you see a guy going through it and you're like, oh, it's happening? No.
Yeah, it happened at Jackson Dart in Gainesville last year.
Extract yourself, sir. Jettison, you are having Vamonos, go. Get out from this headspace.
Ooh, my arm.
But it happens, and it was, it was on display. I bet he looks a lot different against us. At home at night. I bet he does. Everybody does. When we're the road team, everybody looks better than they look against everybody else they play. That's part of my frustration with the current situation. This is the stuff that drives me nuts. This is where you go, yeah, why is that? Why is it everybody plays better against us? So that's possible, even likely, based on evidence. I would also say that it's possible Florida State lights up NC State's defense, which isn't good. The one downside is that NC State's defense has been, simply dreadful against the pass.
Every damn week we say the same thing. If we had a downfield consistent passing game, this would be the year. It would just be our luck that next year it'll be everybody's got poor run defense. And you go, well, they're really good against the pass. And you tighten it up and you go the other way. But Stanford and Clemson and Miami and Pitt and Virginia and all of them, all of the ACC teams that we played struggle against the pass.
Guess what Florida State doesn't have? A drop back pass game. By definition, the offense that we run does not. It is a glorified option offense. I hate it. But, hey, it's what we chose.
Hey, you hate top 10 offenses. That's your problem, pal.
That offensive number, if you look at the analytics and the advanced metrics, is hardly a top 10 offense. But I would also add, for everybody that likes to cite that number, why don't you remove the East Texas A&M game and the Kent State game and see where the offense is at? Funny how 700-plus yards in a game can serve to skew the statistics for an entire season.
The good news is that if you're looking for offensive production, if you get that second half of this past weekend, Tommy Castellanos, with the explosiveness and the ability to make people miss.
Yes, the healthiest he's been since Alabama for sure.
It is legitimately explosive and elusive. If you get that guy, then this offense can do some serious damage because those receivers will be even more wide open if his legs prove in the first quarter, second quarter to be what they were in the second half against Tech.
I want to see a little bit of a secondary receiver. We are somebody brought it up yesterday. We look a lot like the old Megatron Georgia Tech offense. Quarterback that runs around, a team that's hell-bent to run, every now and then a shot play against a massive receiver that you physically can't do anything with. Seems about right. That's kind of who we are.
Yeah, I think our second leading receiver was 2 for 16 against Tech last weekend.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
now, admittedly, those numbers, as schemed up, I'm going to give Gus a little bit of credit here, could be a lot better if the diminutive quarterback could see over the line and accurately throw a football somewhere in the middle of the field to a wide-open receiver streaking time and again.
I think, that's the one thing where we would defer on Gus. I'm not enthused by the offense either, generally speaking. However, the openness of the receivers is consistently there.
Well, the problem is it's glaring because he never hits him. It feels more than it is because when you see it, it's so obvious.
There's a lot of that obvious. And what would happen is the defense would account for that if you had proven consistently you could hit it. But that opens up the ground game. It's just this is a limited player who has been limited within his limitations because of the injury. Now
and
the injury
was already limited, right?
Correct. Yeah, right. But now the injury seems to be gone. So there's a chance that this thing flies past whatever the over is on Friday night.
I'm leaning towards that. Yeah.
I haven't made my pick. I need to log that.
You do. I would say this, and again, I don't know how many times we have to do this. It's beating a dead horse, but buddy, if they go up there offensively and do not move the ball against NC State, I just can't. I mean, I don't know how anybody couldn't at that point decide we are done here. This defense for NC State, butt cheeks. Butt cheeks.
You think they're better or worse than Stanford?
Against the pass, they're 125th.
I think Stanford was in the 130s. So, on par.
I mean, they're not good, Tom. They're not good. They really struggle to get stops if you can throw the football. If you throw the forward pass, they are very nervous. Teams that embrace the forward pass have been very effective at hurting their defense time and again. The kid for Pitt who lit us up threw for over 400 and something yards against them. CJ Carr, who you don't even like, from Notre Dame, threw for 350 something yards on them. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, the one thing I'll give Gus credit for this, I guess it's multiple things now. After
You're
that
just
second
a Gus super fan.
Oh,
sycophant over here for Gus Malzahn.
Is that a poster of Gus on your wall?
What is going on?
Get out of my room.
Are you wearing a Gus shirt?
Get out of my room.
What is happening here?
That roadie for Clemson, he schemed up different stuff. It worked, except it didn't. But you saw formationally, concept-wise, he specifically game planned for an opponent
who had a weakness,
which was something you didn't see at Virginia, which was something you didn't see for Pitt, and that drove me nuts. But that gives me hope that maybe in this circumstance, even with Tommy's legs, they might actually look to be pass first more than he usually is, because it would certainly help.
I have a question for you. I brought up momentarily the Notre Dame team that threw all over NC State. I don't know if you saw last night. We have a situation developing. This is a reminder of the way things used to be, like where we would have where do you stand on the head-to-head versus the overall resume debate? And it's a fun one to have because it's always been something that plagues college football because we don't have like schedules in college football. And there aren't things like winning a division, therefore you get to the playoffs regardless of what we think you are now compared to what you were in week 2 when you beat somebody. It's not that way. In college football, we have way too many subjective moments where the frustration can be overwhelming. For those that missed it, Notre Dame had a loss, you guys know this, in week 1 to Miami. Miami would look at the win against Notre Dame, ironically, as their best win. So what went on to happen for Notre Dame was exactly what Miami needed to have happen, which is to say that win looks good. It looks really good for Miami to have beaten Notre Dame.
Looks better than Notre Dame's win over USC.
So then from there, the problem for Miami is that Miami is now looking up at Notre Dame and going, well, what gives? We beat Notre Dame. And the committee's going, I think Notre Dame's better than you. That was week 1. And Notre Dame's wins are better, and more importantly, their losses are better than your losses. Your losses are to the sorry-ass ACC, SMU and Louisville. Their losses are to you and Texas A&M, both by the hair of their chinny chin early in the year.
But they've got worse wins. That's the whole thing here, is you're seeing a consistent theme from the committee. It's no longer just an SEC talking point because it's applying to Notre Dame right now. Better losses are more valuable than better wins. That's why Notre Dame's ahead of Alabama. Notre Dame has better losses, because tell me what wins Notre Dame has that are better than any of Alabama's top 3 wins.
But I will say this, Alabama has the worst loss of those two.
That's what I'm saying. They're saying, yes.
But I mean, Alabama's loss to us is a bad loss.
So Notre Dame has better losses.
They do. Narrow defeat on the road against Miami.
Right.
And a narrow defeat against Texas A&M, who is right there.
But their best win is USC, which is holding on to its top 25 existence by the hair of its chinny chin, whereas Alabama has far better wins at the top of its resume than Notre Dame does.
Yeah, this is where we get into the debate. When you lose, who you lose to, what did it look like?
Better losses are more valuable than top-end wins.
The problem is, at the end of the day, the committee is going to argue, of course, that, look, we base it on 12 games of data, not one singular game. So Alabama's still in a position to do something about it. They'll be fine. Notre Dame's likely going to win out. And because we make special provisions for Notre Dame, they've really got a leg up on many. Just a tragedy to think Miami will be left out in the cold yet again after millions upon millions of dollars having been spent.
Well, the funny thing is that their best hope is the at-large, because they have a 7% chance of making the ACC championship game. So they're the placeholder in this bracket because they're the best and highest ranked ACC team in the moment. But it is not a likelihood projection of them winning the conference championship, because they got a 1 in 12 shot of being there in the first place.
It will be interesting. They have 2 road games left, does Miami. Do we think they win them both? They play against Virginia Tech, who we just saw. They ought to hammer that team. That is a bad football team. Virginia Tech sucks. It shouldn't be close. But then they play on the road against Pitt late when it's going to be cold. That could get dicey.
And their head coach is still their head coach. So
that's correct.
You can't give them 2-0. You can't just pencil that in.
You can't. This all may be rendered moot. I will tell you, though, that is an interesting debate because as the year has gone on, Miami has looked like a talented team, an inconsistent team, a team who sometimes checks out, a team who's poorly coached, but the record's the record, the wins are the wins. Notre Dame looks buttoned up like a good football team, but they lost to Miami, so that's got to account for something.
It doesn't need to. We know this all too well in this market, and what the committee said is that they're not close enough in the standings to do the head-to-head comparison. Right. They're just far enough from each other.
Not yet.
Which is why Alabama's sitting there for no other reason than to insulate Notre Dame from the Miami discussion. I think that's why Alabama is behind Notre Dame, because the committee is working this thing to keep Notre Dame away from that eyesore of an argument for no other reason. I think it's for these entertainment value purposes.
It's a television show, buddy. Of course it is.
And because Notre Dame needs to get in. That's the way they feel.
Alabama's got the thing about Alabama, too, is, and this helps them, they've got some really good wins.
Better than Notre Dame's.
Including at Georgia. Yeah. At Georgia's a good win, man.
Please keep telling me about that USC win. Great job, Notre Dame.
Southern Cal's not bad. It's not a bad win.
Better than Georgia?
No, not better than Georgia. You know, it's interesting with Oklahoma. Oh, man. Where I get upset is when they start somehow trying to include Texas in this conversation. Stop it. Texas has a loss to Florida. That's a 3-win Florida team. Get up on out of here with that, buddy. We're done here. A, you got the extra loss. B, one of them's to Florida. You're done dealing. Thanks for playing. But you'll hear that effort, that push. Well, you know, I think a 3-loss Texas team should get. Did they not lose to Florida? You'll hear that a bunch.
So Alabama's beaten Georgia,
Tennessee,
Vandy,
and Bend, yeah.
So Georgia and Vandy are ranked ahead of USC.
Yeah. Well, Georgia certainly should be.
So Alabama has 2 wins better than the USC win, and they've got another couple ranked wins behind them with Tennessee, and they beat Mizzou too. Yeah, beat Mizzou.
Well, Mizzou, listen, this is another part of the manipulation, and this is what you should talk about when we talk about the committee. This is why I don't want people involved in this stuff. I hate committees. Mizzou got back into the rankings. They squeaked back into the rankings. And they do this all the time. Like, look at how they did this. They could justify it with the Big 12, too, when you put Arizona in the rankings or you put Arizona State there. So it's so that you can say, well, they have this many games won over ranked teams. So when you put Mizzou back into the top 25, then you're like, well, but they have this win over a ranked team. You're like, well, kind of.
The problem with Notre Dame's schedule and their wins is Purdue knocking on that door? No. Is NC State? Is Boise? Is Boston College? Is Pitt? Maybe Navy? And they beat them 49-10?
Well,
if that's what you're looking for?
The credit for Notre Dame is they look good. I mean, they destroyed Pitt. That's not a bad Pitt team. They destroyed that team. They destroyed that Navy team that knocked off South Florida and knocked them out of playoff contention. They didn't play a close game. Yeah, it's the funny thing is as much as you and I both loathe Notre Dame, they're good. It's a good team. You know, I think we both would, for example, not that, I mean, it doesn't matter. They can't do this. But in terms of the way we view them, if they played Miami tomorrow, we would both pick Notre Dame.
Probably so, yeah.
Probably, maybe even lean towards convincingly.
It's possible. That with Mario, you never know. The thing I would say, though, is it is clear from what we've seen before and what we see now is that a good loss is valued way too highly. Because the test for Notre Dame versus Alabama is only broken by the Florida State loss. Committee said it themselves. Well, that Florida State loss really holds it. What?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? And then the Miami test will be the same thing. Even though there's a head-to-head, Notre Dame has better losses. So lose to the right teams on your schedule. Even though you don't play anybody else if you're Notre Dame. You play hardly anybody else.
Well, and this is the argument for not playing a bunch of people. But, yeah, I go back to it. Those are better losses, and they're by the skin of their teeth. And Miami's losses are terrible losses.
The other problem for the committee is it's not just about the head-to-head. It's that they do have a common opponent in NC State, and Miami beat NC State by more than Notre Dame did.
But they both won easily.
we're splitting hairs here, and it's supposed to be when you're splitting hairs, head to head is the primary tiebreaker.
The good news for the committee is Miami will lose.
Yeah.
They're going to probably lose to Pitt, and they'll be saved. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, going to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Injured? Call attorneys who care. Facing Brooks. Offices, Tallahassee.
I got some pretty spooky news from my Paul's termite and pest control technician the other day. It turns out that I'm sharing my home with Formosan termites. Those little monsters do damage about 4 times faster than the regular termites. Fortunately, Paul's discovered them on a routine general pest service, and they've already turned the Formosans back using an amazing treatment called Centricon.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader in this non-invasive treatment. Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations. These stations are placed around the home. Termites are present, they feed, and take it back to the colony, which is then destroyed. To learn more about Centricon and a free consultation, go to callpauls.com for the elimination of termite or any other pest.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
From the team behind Mac and More Systems comes IOWise, Tallahassee's trusted source for IT services. Protect your business with 24/7 cybersecurity, managed IT support, cloud storage solutions, network design, voice over IP phone systems, expert tech counseling, and more. Whether your business is growing fast or just getting started, IOWise keeps your systems running smoothly and securely. Local service, big solutions. Visit iowise.com today and work wiser with IOWise.
J.D. Power recently named Nissan #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands, with Nissan Murano and Kicks tops in the SUV categories, and both Sentra and Altima winners amongst sedans. For true quality and reliability, look no further than Kraft Nissan.
Hey, it's Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. If you work hard to serve our community, whether you're a teacher, a nurse, firefighter, police officer, or first responder, or even a city or county employee, I've got some great news for you. Florida's Hometown Heroes program can help you buy a home with down payment and closing cost assistance up to $35,000, depending on where you live and work. It's a way to say thank you to the people that keep Florida running, and I'm proud to help local heroes take advantage of it every day. Don't assume you don't qualify. Let's find out together. I'll walk you through the process, show you how to combine these benefits with the right mortgage plan, and help you make that dream of homeownership a reality. Let's get started. You can reach me at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, helping our hometown heroes find their way home.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Hope you're well on this Balls Big Wednesday. Great day for it. There was a little bit of world needs plenty of bartenders to that right there. Didn't mean it to be. Great day for it. You can hear it a little bit.
It's the flourish.
Yeah.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
You know, in the moment that line was delivered, I laughed just as I'm sure you did, because you recognized immediately how well written that was and how well delivered that was.
Well, he's in the
got
movie
that
for like
days.
4 minutes.
He steals it.
But he's
Just about-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
2 weeks with pay.
But that line I have subsequently used time and again when my kids don't do what I ask them to do if it's like school related.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
And it does. It's an underrated profession. There's nothing like a great bartender.
Well, one of the great transition scenes is him hitting a driver at a driving range, and he's like, as he hits the ball. Cui bono, who benefits? Cui gives a bleep. It's got a friggin' bow on it.
Oh.
You're becoming a cop, my son.
You know, was it the quote that Mandrell Desir, was it Mandrell Desir who said said the line?
Yeah, that he wants to be here. He wants to stay here.
It occurred to me that given the fact that we do so much Jeff Cameron Show PR type work where we say, oh, here's a way that a player can say this or a coach can do that and garner either support or understanding or forgiveness, whatever it might be. And it's just refreshing when a player talks about loving where they are. I think in a era of transience, both from coaches and players alike, fans love to latch on to the guy who loves what they love and isn't afraid early on to profess said love. That will make him, in addition to his play, wildly popular for years to come. He should know that. That's not why he did it. But for those that missed it, he talked about loving Tallahassee, loving Florida State, wanting to be here.
Never wanting to leave. And you know what? That means that let's show him the love from the rev share standpoint as well to make sure he sticks around. Because this is one of those deals where, as I understand it, because they were low-level high school prospects,
3 stars like most of our recruits,
you got them at a good number and locked in. So we're going to have to do better. And to make sure that we keep those guys.
Maybe, Tom, he just did himself a disservice by announcing he never wanted to leave. Here's $50.
Or maybe he's putting pressure on the rev share people to say, hey, see, people love me. Here you go. Give me more. But he's earned it. That means
he's played.
He's
well.
earned it.
Yeah, that's the part of when we have the discussion and push it down the road and we ask ourselves, what's it going to look like next year if he stays? What's something that you would be excited about? What's something that you could latch on to that would give you hope that things will be better next year? It certainly wouldn't be the results of each of the last 2 years. It is that is the best he's done from a recruiting standpoint of identifying and bringing in some talent at the freshman for the high school ranks that really show promise. This is the best class he's had in that way. There are several of those kids that we like a lot that show potential to be long-term solutions that you don't need to portal over, Tom.
Yes, that would be nice to get in the habit of doing. I was just pulling up, see if I can find Mandrell's numbers for the season.
He's been good.
Very good. Because you know about the Havoc stuff, just watching the game. You can watch the game and say a guy had an impact, and you look at the stat sheet, and it doesn't match up. But you understand that football is about more than just the numbers. However, he's got 5 sacks this year, 6 tackles for loss in 10 games. Really good numbers. 21 tackles in total, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble. So, I mean, that is doing some things with the rotation the way it is. He wasn't leaned on to be an every down player.
You never anticipate freshman members of the line of scrimmage, offensive or defensive, to come in and make an impact, on the season, like a legitimate impact, an appreciable impact, to make a material difference as you watch games. You don't expect that. But then at the same time, when it happens, you get excited because you know, well, that's the worst he's going to be. I mean, he's only going to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah, well, as long as we develop, yes, he'll get better. And that's not even, I'm not even kidding, and that's not a joke.
That wasn't a
snarky. No.
That wasn't a, yeah.
But we've seen a lot of guys who have had years where you go, well, wait till he comes back next year. And the guys come back. This is usually juniors into seniors. And then that senior year is less than.
Well, I will say there were a series of players that we thought from their junior to their senior year would take a huge step up who also ended up battling lots of injuries in their career, namely along the offensive line. We saw a certain left tackle who was a shell of himself. We saw a center who was beat to hell, and it finally caught up with him with all the back issues. We've seen guards who've had this issue as well, even this year.
What makes Mandrell a little bit different is clearly he's wired to compete, and he's hungry to compete because he was less heralded coming out of high school, which means that you come in, you're promised nothing. You're given very little in terms of rev share money. So you are fighting for the right. Whereas I would point to Patrick Payton as an obvious example from 2 seasons ago to last year. Total drop-off. And it's not just about Jared Verse. There were habits that were not elevated.
Well, this is where we get angry about not holding people accountable. I just think that there are some things within your culture that have to be set in stone. And if I ever catch you not giving effort in a game, I'm not talking about a practice because I'm not unreasonable. I understand. Some days, man, we were all in college. Football practice is hard. There are days you feel under the weather. There are days you're a little worn down. There are days you had a fight with your girlfriend, got a bad grade on a test, and you come into practice and maybe your focus is waning, and things happen. I'll forgive some of that. But when you give me more than one performance in which effort is not on display routinely, well, that is more than alarming. That is potentially devastating to my culture if I allow you to be back out on the field gaining first-team reps. Can't do it. And when we list the litany of things that Mike has done to undo all of the goodwill that was built during the undefeated regular season and the ACC championship year, that is probably chief amongst them. That's how you undo it.
Yes.
And those things lead to losses, so they're hand in hand.
I was just, again, looking at the numbers, and if I told you before the season started that Mandrell Desir would play in 9 games, have 2 sacks, 2 sacks, tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits, 14 tags, like, all right, that's a decent freshman year for a rotational player. We're getting something out of that 3-star. Good job. Those are James Williams numbers. In fact, to be precise, 2 tackles for loss and a half a sack for James on the season. In 9 games, 14 tackles. But Mandrell, on the other hand, right? So
he's recorded the second 4 straight games, by the way.
Expensive imported player from the previous institution who understands the scheme versus 3-star recruit that we got kind of at the 11th hour in last year's class with his twin brother. 10 games, 21 tackles, 6 for loss, 5 sacks. Incredible production.
5 sacks, 17 quarterback pressures, second in the country's in tackles for loss, as you've pointed out. Getting better every day. However many straight games with a sack now. 4, did I say? 3, whatever it is. Man. It's exciting.
Also, he's a legit 265, whereas unfortunately for James, he was listed at 267. And that
they look different, Tom.
They do. That's right.
They look different in terms of muscle mass, potential to actually live up to whatever the LBs say on the in the guide.
Well, and one would imagine, too, from an NIL standpoint, we can redistribute some of that defensive line money from the aforementioned player from Nebraska to...
I wish I was the redistribution guy. That's the job I want. Okay, let's look at the books here. What do we got? We're going to take some from over here and put it over here because you can't play. Take it on down the road. UAB's calling. Here we go. Good times.
Looking up Jason Jenkins' numbers, too, this season, and that's another disappointment, but somebody's coming off of injury, and I don't know what he's played through because it was miraculous that he's able to play at all relative to what we heard in spring. But he, too, has just 1 tackle for loss and 1 sack. So between he and James Williams, who at the time that you acquired him, different things happened there. Mm-hmm. Jason's not the same story. But you've got a total of 3 tackles for loss and a sack and a half. Meanwhile, the freshman comes in and doubles that production.
You know, it's not that we didn't know this because everybody said it after the game. But I'm going to reiterate it, and it's just resoundingly true. And I'm guilty, like everybody else is, to varying degrees, of extrapolating whatever we think we know after one game and projecting it throughout the course of a season without more data points. The Jenkins situation, with the injury that he had and the time that he missed and the speculation that was pretty rampant that he wasn't not only going to be ready to play to start the year, there was a chance he wouldn't be ready till like week 6, 7, or 8. And the conversation of, well, is it even worth playing him if he's only going to play in 4 games? Like, what would you want to do with that for him as well if he's got an eye on an NFL career, which he does?
And he worked incredibly hard.
No, this is not a knock on him.
Yeah.
But when you kept getting news and word that, hey, he might be able to play, he may be able to play the bulk of the season. That's how it started. Well, really? Because I knew what the injury was, and I thought, I don't know how that's possible. And the closer we got to the start of the season, the louder those rumors became, which was that he was not only going to play, but there was a chance he was going to play against Alabama. We talked about that on the air and thought, well, that's remarkable. It's a testament to his hard work, but that is remarkable, and I wonder how effective he'll be. And he did play, and we did think, oh, my goodness, man, what a bout of good fortune for Florida State. Well, not to knock the kid, turns out the injury was devastating, and he is not the player that we thought he was going to be, and he has not had a year worth noting at all. At all.
He and Daryl Desir have had essentially the same season statistically. In terms of snap counts, production, all that stuff, but statistically in tackles for loss, and sacks, it's the same player through 10 games. So just when you're looking at, and Jenkins is a redshirt junior, so he can come back for another year at full health, and maybe you see that leap.
Yeah, let's hope for it. I'm rooting for the kid, sure.
But when you're talking about the dollars spent on the defensive line, you got Daryl coming off the books. You ain't going to pay James the same amount of money.
I'll give it $1.
You're going to up and give a good bump to Mandrell for sure. Probably Daryl a little bit too. But you could spend, and Jenkins is not going to earn as much money, I wouldn't think, next year. You got a good chunk of change to go spend on that D-line. I know they just brought in the JUCO defensive end transfer, but you can fortify the ranks with probably some significant dollars for the defensive line in 2026, given what's coming off of the books.
Yeah, well, but okay, so back to the larger point. We thought we knew a lot of things after Alabama. Turns out we didn't. And that's why we look at the larger sample size of what has been over the last 2 years as opposed to the one-off great moment. And, yeah, you can do that. You can say, well, if this, then that, we'll bring this. And ultimately where the disappointment sets in is that you realize the one thing that's consistent is the guy making these decisions.
Here, I was trying to steer something into it.
I tried. You know what? On that note, it's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
No one was hurt after a home caught fire early.
Look at these hollow socks. See this? Hollow socks. These are the boot cut. This is the boot cut hollow sock right here. I will tell you, I took these out of the package because I'm going to wear them later. They're not the boot cut. These are alpaca, something to do with alpaca's performance socks. I've got these hollow socks that they sent me. Let me tell you something right now. I don't say yes to all the endorsements. I don't. But when Tom told me that Hollow Socks wanted to send me some socks, the boot cut, I got the compression sock, I've got the everyday active sock, I've got all the different kinds of socks. I'm not an expert on socks. All I asked Tom was, are these fine folks that are sending me socks, Hollow Socks, are they comfortable? Are these good socks? And he said, well, I don't know. But they're going to send them to you, and you get to try them. And if you don't want to talk about them, then we'll say no. But if you like the socks, then make sure you talk about them. So I'm talking about them because I love them. They're comfortable. They're great. I wore a pair on Monday to work out. That's the true test. When I work out, I got to have comfortable socks. You can't be out there sweating in uncomfortable socks or having them feel weird in your shoe. Not only they did not feel weird in my shoe, they felt great. They felt comfortable. They felt supportive. They felt like I should be working out in them. They're really, really good socks. And I think most of you watching this are like, all right, I like a good pair of socks. Socks are underrated. I mean, I know people who spend all kinds of money on socks, and at the end of the day, you really can't tell the difference. I could tell the difference with these socks. I like them. That's why I showed them off to the camera. I think you'll like them too. They've got socks for camping. They've got socks for hiking. They've got socks for hunting. Hunting's not my cup of tea, but if I were hunting, I'd like these big old thick long ones that go to your knee, right? Especially when it's cold outside. They've sold over 2 million pairs of socks. So a lot of people are just like me saying, I'm down with the socks. I like the everyday socks and the compression socks. Those are my two favorite. For a limited time, Hollow Socks is having a buy two, get two free sale. Head to hollowsocks.com today to check it out. Hollowsocks.com for up to 50% off your order. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and you can support the Jeff Cameron Show by saying, I heard about the Hollow Socks and the Jeff Cameron Show. Look at that. Do it. Go to hollowsocks.com. Get you some Hollow Socks. Get those alpacas. They're good.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life. And the best game you ever played was that game. Never been a better one. Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff? I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
7 o'clock, Miami of Ohio at Buffalo. Just a 2.5-point spread for your gambling interest at UB Stadium, Buffalo, New York, where a lot of people wake up and think, why am I in Buffalo? Central Michigan at Kent State. That game at Dick's Stadium.
Oh, man.
Kent, Ohio, if I'm reading that correctly, just a touchdown spread. We got two close ones tonight.
DIQUE?
I think it's DIX.
Oh, okay.
Little
it was plural. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little 47 degrees at Dick Stadium tonight, everybody. And then tomorrow night, as we continue to soak up the football, you got to. I'm telling you this for your own good. Don't ignore about a Wednesday night football. Embrace, bet, revel.
You know the rule if you're outside of UB Stadium, right?
No.
You point at it and you say UB Stadium, and then you point at yourself, you say IB person.
That's terrible, Tom.
It is.
That's terrible.
It's awesome.
You can get a ticket tonight, $17 to go into UB Stadium. You can get a ticket outside of Dick Stadium for just $8. Thursday, you get Louisiana at Arkansas State, 2.5-point spread. There's action to be had.
So Doughman in the chat is right around the corner from Dick Stadium.
Oh, yeah?
Wondering if, is it nice? Is it nice, Doughman?
Dick Stadium?
Yeah. It's in the chat. It's on the screen.
Nicely done, Doughman. Well, I mean, I don't know why I'm giving you credit for just being near something, but that's in Ohio. Dick Stadium is. And, yeah, how big a stadium is that? Hey, now. Credential Bank Stadium in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Sounds like a place that a cult would live. Makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me nervous.
Jonesboro, Arkansas,
you're like, ooh,
unincorporated.
Don't like this. People get pulled over a lot here, don't they? Yeah, it just feels uncomfortable. And then there we sit for more weekday football. Nothing like it. Rolling up to Carter Finley in Raleigh on a Friday night. Damn it, man. But if you need some salve, stay up late, 10:30, where you'll get Hawaii at UNLV.
All right.
Little FS1 for that ass, buddy. That's Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. That's where the Raiders play. We just saw that one.
I'd like to go there.
I've been there. Not to a game, but I've wandered the yard. I have been around Allegiant Stadium and thereabouts. It was actually kind of chilly when I was there, oddly enough. Don't get a lot of that.
It can be. The first time, actually, both times I've been in Vegas are December and January, and that wind out there will whip.
Sometimes, Tom, when we say this, and I have fun with it, the stadium names, I always like to do this. This is my thing. Sometimes I think, that's a stadium I'll never visit. Other times I think that's a stadium I'd like to visit. Other times I think, there's a possibility one day we'll play,
Like Arizona?
But sometimes, sadly, Tom, when I look at a stadium, I go, I'll never see that stadium.
NRG Stadium in Houston? Never going.
It's just because you don't like the Texans? What is it?
There's just something about it. It's right next to the Astrodome. I'm like, man, I'm never going to be in that parking lot. And I don't want to be in that parking lot before a game. No, thank you.
Trying to think of a stadium that I haven't been to that I want to go to. I know. I've been to it, not seen a game there. It's changed a lot since I lost my keys nearby it. But Kid Brewer there in Boone, North Carolina, where Appalachian State plays.
That would be cool.
The stadium I want to go to is in Laramie to see Wyoming play, and my dad has been to a game in Wyoming at Laramie.
Really?
Yeah, he saw Wyoming in Air Force. It was when he was living in Denver for a year, and he'd go to Air Force games with his buddy who was formerly of the Air Force, and then his buddy said, we should drive over to Laramie to see Wyoming play one day. And his friend says to my dad, Air Force is out of town this weekend. Let's go to Laramie. They drive to Laramie. They're playing Air Force.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that I've wanted to go there for a while. That is War Memorial Stadium in Laramie.
All right. That's better than just Memorial. Everybody's Memorial Stadium. Yeah. War Memorial is much better.
It's only 48 degrees in Wyoming right now if you were standing outside of War Memorial Stadium, buddy.
I want to go to Kinnick.
Oh, 100%.
When
we join the Big Ten, we're all set.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Madison, 100%.
Well, that's an awesome place.
But Boone is high up on the list, probably top 10. Because that just has to be a cool trip.
The atmosphere or the city, I've been to
all of it. Just going up, being up in the mountains. I mean, that's a vacation kind of thing where you take a week off and that's the game you happen to go see.
When I was a kid, we used to ski at Sugar Mountain because it's cheap. And you go up there, I would go with my youth group as a child, and we'd go up there and ski at Sugar Mountain. And, man, you want to talk about you can only ski Sugar Mountain if you're young, I think, because it's patches of ice and sorry ass. It's not great skiing. But, and I'm a little spoiled now because I've skied in Montana and Colorado and Utah and places like that. But when you ski Sugar Mountain, you're like, there's some bare bones skiing out here at Sugar Mountain now. A lot of black ice, a lot of patches of, you sure we should be skiing?
I never have once skied. We had a ski house when we lived in New York in the Catskills in Hunter Mountain, Wyndham. But we moved when I was a kid. So I've only seen skiing from afar. So I'd go find a frozen pond, throw on some skates, and go play some pickup hockey is what I'd do.
We are 1 year away, and I say this as a show. I don't know how we would make this work. I'd like to make it work. We're going to start projecting, looking ahead on weekends that Florida State does not have a game, and you and I are picking a game of the week, and the Jeff Cameron Show is going on the road, and we are going to visit stadiums that we have never seen, do reports, live shows. We can do that just as easily from there as we can our own houses when Florida State's off that weekend. Go up there, see it up, get a sponsor for that sort of thing. How much fun is that? I mean, everybody watching and listening to this program is a college football fan. How cool would that be? Just start picking the places. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, as long as it's a multiple bye-week season, that would be good.
Yeah.
Or you pick a roadie. You just go up there opposite the Florida State road game that we would never travel to. So let's say we're playing Syracuse on the road next year.
Not going.
Right. So we'll go somewhere else. We'll watch the game from the abode that we decide to rent out, and we do our work from there.
I'm in.
I like that.
Speaking of Syracuse, they have now lost 6 straight games.
We are ahead of them in the ACC standings.
You're damn right we are.
One of 2.
You want none of this, Syracuse. Neither do you, Boston College, with your 0-7 ass.
And it depends on where we play that game.
You think we'd struggle a roadie at Boston College or a roadie at Syracuse?
We lost to Stanford on the road.
2 wins, Stanford. Well, 3 wins Stanford, 2 conference wins. We're tied with Stanford in the ACC standings. The problem is they have the head-to-head. That hurts. And NC State and Florida State are tied in the ACC, but
there we go.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we get down, Bubba.
I'm sure that's how it smells up there, too, I'd imagine.
2-4 NC State in Raleigh against 2-5.
2-5.
Sorry.
That's right.
I shorted us a loss. 2-5 Florida State. This is where we find out who wants it more. Not going to lie, a win. Now, we got to figure Carolina isn't going to win. Let's see. NC State, that we would take care of business there. I don't think Va Tech is going to win. And Stanford probably won't win. Tom, do you realize with a victory this weekend, Florida State can vault from
15th, tied for 14th probably.
15th in the ACC, all the way up to that region in which Cal lives in the middle of the pack.
All right. Top 8 finish?
No, top 10-ish finish in the ACC.
Who finishes higher in the ACC standings this year? Is it going to be Norvell or Luke?
Oh.
And shouldn't that be a barometer of success?
Well, Luke's got a much better chance to finish higher than we do, I think. We only have one ACC game to go.
That's fair.
There's
but
not a lot.
Luke is not they. Luke is we too.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, but like for Mike's purposes, I mean, in fairness to Mike, Tom, he only has this one last opportunity to make a dent.
In fairness to Mike, he did have 7 opportunities before this one.
But you didn't place the bet then. You didn't offer or posit it then. You said now, and he only has the one chance to improve to 10th or 11th in the ACC.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Had you made this early on, I don't think we would have.
After the Alabama win, we would have taken Norvell?
We would have taken Norvell.
Yeah.
Because we beat Alabama, we wouldn't have been like, you know what? I think after that Alabama win, I'm going to pick losses to Stanford. I'm going to pick losses to Clemson. I'm going to pick losses to, obviously, we might have picked one against Miami. But Pitt and Virginia, we probably wouldn't have taken.
I think the funniest finish would be to lose this week and beat Florida, because then you could say you have 2 ACC wins and 2 SEC wins in the same season.
Just want to play SEC teams
Yes,
as often as possible. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.